Hey guys, you guys are watching Soulful Discussions. Stay tuned.
All right, so hi, how you doing today?
I'm phenomenal. And yourself?
I'm doing great. And so let's give the people a little bit of context in terms of how we know each other,
Okay.
and how I approach you. So
Okay. Hey guys, so me and Brittany know each other for some years back. We worked at Ross together, and how he approached me, well, we definitely don't work in the same place anymore because time has gone by, but he reached out to me on social media to interview me, which brought me here today.
Absolutely. And so I just got through telling you what we're going to be talking about. Can you tell the people what we're going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about feet, mental health, and what was that one?
Reflexology.
Reflexology.
Absolutely. And so now, in terms of mental health, right, are there any topics that you research, that you follow, that you know about, anything like that?
In terms of mental health, I feel like the one thing that I focus a lot myself into and that I do like to research, it's just like personal development, like keeping the mind in a space of elevation, really, like because with all these things that happen around the world and with us trying to get things with certain goals and then the personal things that happen to us, I feel like keeping a mental peace of mind or keeping your mind elevated to a certain extent is really important to get you through whatever it is that you're going through your goals and life period overall.
Absolutely. And I think that we've seen that in terms of your friends who know you and follow you on Instagram. We've seen that from you because I remember you just being a cashier at Ross and being a front-end supervisor, and now you're doing big things, like real big things. In terms of reflexology, so I know you're not familiar with that. You already said so there'll be some information there that I'll be able to share with you, and then when we go over to mental health, it's pretty interesting in terms of some of the information you'll find out from that.
Okay.
So let's jump into some of these questions. Okay. What's something that you like that other people might find to be weird? And I'm using the term weird for a reason. It doesn't necessarily have to be weird, but other people may look at it that way.
Okay. One thing that I like that people might look weird at. I want to say I have a thing for shoes. So when I look at a person, the first thing that I'm looking at is shoes. And people will be like, why shoes? But that's just a thing I have.
Absolutely.
That's just one thing.
Because you're a sneakerhead, so you'll look at somebody's shoes and probably you're like, man, I wonder if I can get a pair like that, right? Is that what it is?
Not necessarily, because when I'm looking at somebody's shoes, I'm looking at a lot of things. I'm looking at the type of person you might be. I feel like it has a lot to do with the person. So I just like to view shoes as one thing.
Okay, cool. Has anyone ever made you feel insecure about your body or a body part before?
Oh, most definitely. Always. We have people, we live in a society where people, always judge regardless or not, or, carelessly talk about other people. So yes, definitely. And one thing that, if that's the following question, what is one thing that people have judged about myself, would probably be my height. That's one part of myself that I would say. And then just being skinny.
Yeah.
And those two combinations have been one that I would say.
And I think that, because my follow-up question is, how have you overcome that? What are some things that you did? But I can tell that you kind of overcome that because you model now, you do all kinds of stuff. So, how did you get over that? How was something you
honestly, I really had to start with myself.
Okay.
Self-acceptance, one, and then two, just working on the things that I felt like would bring that confidence in myself, because now how I view myself really is more of how I'll carry myself, people's opinions and people's comments, or people have joke around and stuff, no longer impact me anymore. So I feel like I started with my mental, accepting who I am, and then two, really in terms of the skinny part, really watching my physical activities, started working out, really got to a point where my body felt comfortable where it is, and again now the confidence stuck up, so it really doesn't affect.
Absolutely. If you could change one thing about yourself, right? Somebody came and gave you the power to change whatever you want. Doesn't have to be physical. What would it be?
Oh, definitely my height.
Your height? Really?
And I'm gonna tell you why.
You would want to be shorter?
No, I wouldn't like to be shorter, but I would like to be a little smaller,
inches?
just because I'm a shoe fanatic and I love heels.
I see.
I love heels, which is why I'm into modeling.
So when you end up having to wear heels,
I'm
a lot of times
taller.
you're way taller than everybody else. Because you're about 6 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
6 feet, and then I wear heels now. I'm way
6'5",
taller.
6'6".
So I think that's the only reason why I would change that part of me.
Okay. But you know what? I think that's something that because we don't. At least for me, right? To me, that's a great thing for you, because it probably did lead you into the modeling career, right?
Which now brought me to that, and then it's awesome because now again now comfortable with who I am.
Yeah.
I would like to change that about me, but hey, I am
now,
who I am.
Are we talking a couple inches? Or are we talking about just like maybe
no,
going down
like
to like
I would
5'8",
like to be like a 5'9", 5'8".
I see.
Because even with heels, it'll still be,
you can still hit that 6 foot.
But,
okay.
you know, now that I don't have that option and somebody's not going to appear, you know, now like this leads me into the modeling industry, which is where I've gone into, and I can walk in comfort and still be me and still, you know, feel confident in who I am. So.
I feel you. Okay, so now let's get into these questions. How do you feel about your feet? What are your thoughts?
I like my feet.
Okay.
I feel like I have pretty feet.
Okay.
I would like to say.
Okay.
I've gone through stuff with my toes.
Okay.
So
because you were an athlete.
I was an athlete, so running, you can, for all my runners that know, it's a battle that you battle.
Absolutely. Have you ever received any compliments before?
Most definitely.
Men, women, like what are we talking?
Mostly men.
Okay.
When I'm outdoors or I'm wearing sandals and stuff, and obviously my toenails are done, it's always like, oh my God, I'd like to lick your feet. Like,
oh wow, you get them that? Wait, you get them that extreme?
Yes.
I thought you would just get like, hey, you have nice feet. You get
no, they get that, and I like at
Lord
first
Jesus.
When I first heard that, it was kind of like uncomfortable, right? Like because
but
I didn't know that it was a fetish with people.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know it was a fetish thing.
Yeah.
So you know, like my first time hearing it, I was like, whoa, like somebody just said some nasty shit to me. Like I don't even understand why they would even do that, you know? But then, you know, as I grew into it, like I learned that it was a fetish that people have.
Yeah.
And then the question just became something that when people say it, is just, I take it as a compliment. Nobody has ever done that to me, so can't say it's something that I dig. But when they say it, I feel like I've taken it to a compliment.
Okay.
Really.
Cool. So now, in terms of compliments, right, that you receive from men and women, do you feel differently about them? Like, do you have like a different emotion that's attached to it? So like a man comes up, gives you a compliment, as opposed to like a woman giving you a compliment. Is it different or is it the same?
It's gonna be different if I say that a girl tells me that she wants to lick my feet. Of course, that's gonna be.
Oh well, no, not just that.
Nah,
so what you talking about in general?
In general, no. I feel like I don't feel like it's any different. I feel like a compliment should be a compliment directly from whether the person, now how the compliment is being made, that then now determined differently. But no, I feel like it's.
Okay. I started asking that question because one of the women that I've interviewed, she mentioned that a lot of times like women from a young age, you guys are kind of taught to like be in competition and kind of hate on each other, and so when you get older and you receive compliments from other women, like it seems more sincere as opposed to like guys who give compliments to get something in return. You agree with that, or?
I agree with that to a certain extent.
Okay.
I just feel like it has to do with mentality.
Okay.
Because I do recall, you know, being at a younger age and me being myself scared to like even compliment a girl because it was different. We were so like, you know, with a wall built. But I feel like I can see why women would see now, like it's more, for me it's more empowering when a woman compliments me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, it's empowering that we can do that to each other. But I feel like it has to do with mentality, really. Level of maturity.
What are your thoughts on if you started dating someone who was into feet? How would you? Because you said you've never had that experience. So now, would that be something you would be willing to try? Like you would try to go through it, or would it be something you're kind of like, nah, I don't know about that?
I don't think so.
I don't
think I would be able to go with it.
Now, why not? So I like to get into like the mental part of why not. Like, what's the block that you have there that's like?
I just feel like it's just, I don't know. It's not. I don't know if it's something that, like, again, society already constructs us to believing and building us a certain way or thinking that certain things are a certain way, but it hasn't been something that in the books of sexuality has been something that's been put when having a sexual intercourse. So it's not something that I'm like, I'm going to be aroused by just by a guy doing that.
So let me ask you a question, right? So, because I had somebody else who kind of said the similar thing that you did, so I challenged you. So now, if I approached you and this interview was about, I wanted to talk to you about breasts, or your butt, or your hair, would that be different? You would look at it differently in terms of those things? Because it's still a part of you, right?
Yeah.
So like, what's the difference? Because there are people who are into like, everybody's into something. You just said you're into shoes. You look at people and you automatically start to like think like, what type of person is that, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference if like somebody looks at you and like, and we're talking about from an admiration standpoint. We're not talking about like they're obsessed to the point to where like it's extreme.
Yeah.
We're talking about an admiration standpoint. Like they like you, but they like feet too. That's not something you can.
I honestly don't think that I can compromise that. I think I'd like that you share that and it's like something you dig. And again, I feel confident in my feet, so I'm pretty sure you'll love mine. But I don't think I would go there, honestly, truthfully.
Okay. I like that. I like that. So when you first start dating someone, right? when is the appropriate time for you to bring up things that you're into, for both of you guys to like say like, I'm into this, I'm into that? When is the appropriate time?
I feel like when the conversations, you know, I don't know, like I feel like once you and that person really feel that comfortability, because it's not something that you can right away talk to someone.
Yeah.
Not often, unless your intentions are both to just be like messing around or whatnot. But I feel like maybe I don't know. I want to say like 4 dates out, or I don't know, like a month.
And it's interesting because so I asked this question and I get different reactions. Like I've had some women say right away, and like they don't want to waste time, they want to know so that way they can see if it's a deal breaker or not. I've had some people say like I want to go on a couple dates and then kind of fill it out. And then I've had one woman who told me she would want to wait till they're official, and I'm like, that's kind of late. I was like, if you're already with the person, where do you go now? Like, so.
Yeah, no, I just feel like I can't say right away because for me it's like I want to get to know a person, and then if like I like the person, then I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like, and if it's something that we can like, I guess, compromise in a sense, like, hey, it can work out. Like you said, would you give the shot of the feet? That's something that I'd be like, no. But if it's something different, then maybe I'd be open. So I can't be right away and say like, hey, no, we need to talk about this.
So I mean, now we talked about the feet. Now I'm trying to get more in depth in terms of like why you have that. Like that thing against it, like what is like? Is it because of society? Like society's created all these different things, and so now to you, like it seems like a weird thing.
Yeah, for me it just seems weird. Like,
so let me ask you a question, because like when you first got into modeling, right? I'm pretty sure you probably had some reservations. You weren't sure what it was going to be like, but eventually you went through with it, and it's been a good thing for you, right? So now when we have things that we approach in life, right? Sometimes giving it a try just to see like if it is for you or not. You might like it, you never know. Yeah, like it might be something you like, but to just like completely shut something off, like you're closing yourself off to experiences is all I'm saying.
That's true.
So how often do you get pedicures? Let's get into that.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks? Okay. How often do you wear like open toe shoes, sandals? Well, probably not often because you were a sneakerhead, and like you like
not often as I'd like, because yes, I'm a sneakerhead one, but like where I work requires me to have clothes to show to, and then when I spend doing majority of my time is gym training, so
she be in there hard, guys.
So really,
seriously,
like the only time I really use like open toes is really like if I'm going on a ladies' night out and I'm wearing some heels, or like on a sunny weekend or something. But
how often do you go barefoot?
In my house, mostly.
Okay, so have you ever heard of earthing, grounding?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll do that at the beach.
You know that's a part of reflexology, right? It's a small portion of it.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Small portion of reflexology. Okay, so now can we see what your feet look like up close?
Damn. He would ask me how my toes look, huh?
We want to see. We want to see it on camera. Can you? Let's get you to put them up here.
Because we're gonna have the public voting, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Let's get you to put them up here.
This is my week where I need to go and get my feet done again, but
don't worry about that.
What it looks like, and
put them up here. Put them up here. Let's get them.
No, this is how are you gonna like just okay?
Yeah, put them up. Put them both. Come on.
No, I'm not putting both.
Why not?
Because why?
Why not?
I don't feel like taking both my feet.
You have two. You have 2 feet, right? We're trying to get comparison. Also, we have to go through some like exercises, so I'm putting you through like the ring.
Okay.
All right.
Don't do that.
Why not? Put it. What is it? So
because my toenails are not done.
Okay, so you're feeling a little self-conscious because your toes are not done.
Yes.
This is going on YouTube, and so you feel a certain way about it, right?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, let me throw in the mental health. Okay. Because I can tell like you're feeling.
Pointing my toes. Okay.
Yeah. You're feeling a little self-conscious, right? Let me throw in the mental health. This is why I got started. Okay. Have you ever heard of DBT before?
No.
Okay. It's dialectical behavioral therapy. Okay. So it's for people who suffer from anxiety, depression. These are people who don't feel to like live in the moment, right? They tend to like overthink situations, right? So they're presented with a situation and they start to think about all the negative things that can happen, right? They never think about the positive things. So therapists prescribe for these people to like go out, put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, right? So let's say you have a fear of approaching strangers, right? You don't feel comfortable with that. They want you to go out and do it over and over again, right?
Yeah.
Get used to the uncomfortable feeling that comes with that, right?
Yeah.
When you start to feel that uncomfortable urge, they want you to cope with that. And they want you to ask yourself, what's the worst that's going to happen in that situation, right? So you think about the absolute worst thing. And if it's not a threat to your life or to your safety, you should proceed because you could experience like good events, good moments, stuff like that, right? So like when we're going through this right now, like the only thing that's going through your mind right now is like, this is some weird stuff. Like it's like, I don't know, like my toes are not done. You're thinking about all the negative things.
Yeah.
But like, just live in the moment. Like, so this is what I'm trying to challenge you to do. Like, to see if can you live in the moment? Can you just go through it?
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel?
I think you're right.
So like the questions I was asking you earlier, because you were like, nah, I think I'll just shut myself off from that. I wouldn't want to experience that, whatever like that. But it's like, why not? Like we only have one life, right? You have one life to live. To close yourself off from experiences that you never experienced before, from foods that you've never tried.
Guys, I'm about to leave right now. Go get me a guy that flicks my toes. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, but to like close yourself off from those experiences, right? Like you close yourself off from knowing like what the world is as a whole, right? So like that's what I'm challenging people to do. So this is why I came up with the idea. Right? Okay. So how do you like that? What are your thoughts?
I think it's pretty dope.
Okay.
I feel like I've done it and I practice it with other things in my life.
Yeah.
Just this being one that just wouldn't be something presented. So I guess I've done it. So I would be open for it. As far as I think it's pretty dope. I think when you put people in situations like that, you get them to challenge. Yeah. And again, I've done that a lot with the current business that I do. So like talking to people was one of the things, and now it's something that I learned to. And see, I'm giving you this DBT, so you might be able to use that in the future when you're talking to people. Like when you encounter people who have blocks like that, ask them like, what's the worst that's gonna happen in this situation right now? Like, think about it. If it's nothing that's gonna threaten your life or your safety, then what are you worried about? All right. Let me get you to extend your feet out. Let me see the soles. Like, yeah, let's see them. Okay, and what size do you wear? Because I don't think we got I wear a 9 in women.
A 9 in women's?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's not, I mean, you're 6 feet.
6 feet.
Feet are kind of
small. I feel like they're fine.
Not too bad. Okay, so let's talk about reflexology, okay? And then leave your feet here because we're going to go through a couple exercises.
Okay.
So, reflexology is the study of the different pressure points we have in our hands and our feet, right? So you have all these different pressure points and nerve endings. These things lead back to your body and basically like correlate to different parts of your body. Okay. So through massage, acupuncture, things like that, you can alleviate like stress and tension in different parts of your body. What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel about that? Like,
it's true.
Yeah. So have you ever had that done before? Like,
yeah, I've had done. I mean, I've always gotten massages throughout my whole entire body because, like, again, I spend a lot of my time personally training, so I do take care of that part of my body. So I have had that in my feet, and it does relieve tension, like you said.
Exactly. So now we've reached this portion. How ticklish are you?
I would say if you want me to rate it from 1 to 10, I'd say like a 5.
5? Really? Can we test it out?
Go for it.
Okay.
I might not laugh, so.
Put your feet next to, no, it doesn't matter about that. So this is to test like the sensitivity. Everybody has a different sensitivity in their soles. So we're testing out now to see like how sensitive yours are, okay? So we're gonna start with the right. I'm gonna start from bottom and work my way up, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and nothing? Really? Okay, so you don't feel anything?
I feel it.
You feel it?
It doesn't.
Does it feel more relaxing, like almost like a massage, really?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like an urge to crack up.
That's why. So some people feel like that stimulation from it, where they feel more relaxed. Other people are like super sensitive when it comes to that. So let's try the left now. One's usually more sensitive than the other. Tell me which one it is, okay? 1, 2, 3. And
I think it was
your right one was more? Okay. All right. So what was it on a scale of 1 to 10? Because you said it was about a 5. Was this one a 5 or was it lower?
This one was a 5. This one was lower.
So what, like a 3, 4?
Oh, yeah, 3.
Okay. Let me get you to do a couple exercises, and I want to see like we're testing your flexibility, see if you might have any ligament damage or anything like that. Okay.
Okay.
Let me get you to make a fist with your feet and tell me if you feel any pain or discomfort.
Discomfort.
You feel discomfort over here?
Yep.
Where at?
Right here.
Right here. Okay. Relax. All right. Let me get you to spread your toes and tell me if you feel anything. Spread them.
No.
That's just why. Is it hard to do? So it's hard for you to do that? Okay, relax.
It's not hard. It's just that's about it.
That's like, as far as it goes?
Yeah.
So yeah, more people are more dexterous like with this type of thing. All right, so let me get you to wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds and tell me if you feel any pain or discomfort from that. Are you still feeling that same pain?
It's just this one here. You see how this one doesn't really move? Like.
But are you still feeling that pain over here?
That just discomfort, just a little.
Yeah, a little discomfort there? Okay, relax. All right, so I have people go through that because I interviewed a lady before. And when she started going through those exercises, she started to feel pain across her big toe. It's usually signs that you may have like some ligament damage. You could have broke. And she said she had actually stumped her toe like the week before. So that's why I have people go through those exercises, right? So now let's wrap up the interview. Okay. First of all, what are your thoughts on like the way I approached you? I approached you online, so to ask you about it, but I didn't tell you what it was. No. And when I finally did tell you what it was, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was something different and weird. because again, who speaks about toes?
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm always open for like things. So.
Well, hopefully now with the DBT that you know about, you'll be way more.
Maybe more, yeah, okay. Definitely. Probably go get a guy that licks my toes.
You going right
get it out the way.
You're going right into the stream already. Okay. In terms of the interview, right, from start to finish, could you see how everything was going in a line? Did it make sense to you? Did you learn anything new?
Yeah, it definitely made sense to me why you did that. I feel like for the average person that you'll interview, I feel like in terms of us being close-minded to things, we'll probably think about it twice, because again, you put that in question, like what is the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
The opinion of what you think about my toes, or the YouTube watcher, which I probably won't see ever, so hey.
Well, hopefully you will, because I'm going to give you the YouTube channel.
No, I'm talking about the people.
Oh, the people, yeah, you won't see them.
That will watch, yeah.
But you know, it's funny because I interviewed a lady yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. And as we were talking through the experience, she started talking about stuff that she was like, she had insecurities about her feet, right? Mm-hmm. But she also had insecurities about other things, and she didn't even realize like that small thing was like a seed to other things in her life to have insecurities about. And so when we went through the process and I started asking her, what's the worst that's gonna happen in this situation? Like, think about the absolute worst thing, and is it something that's gonna like kill you? Like, if somebody looks at your feet and they're like, oh, they're not the nicest feet, like, does that hurt you at all? Like, does it? Okay, so that's what I try to get people to, like, get you to that point to where you understand that. So last thing I like to ask you, I ask everybody who does the interview, from a mental health standpoint, a life lesson that maybe you've learned, something that you can say to my channel.
To your what?
To my channel, just something like a mental health aspect, a life lesson that maybe you learned.
Just don't be so close-minded. Like, if like, I think I just spoke about this yesterday. Like, if you're in fear of something, just go for it. If you're in doubt of something, just go for it. Like, cause the worst that can happen is the person saying no. You know, you learning a lesson of what you need to get better at. So it can go in a lot of great ways if you just stop fearing and just putting that. I think it's better than you telling yourself, what if I would have tried it? What if I would have gone for it? So I think one valuable thing that I would leave behind is just be open-minded and never fear and doubt yourself.
Absolutely. And just to be full disclosure, me coming up and approaching you wasn't the easiest thing, even though it was on social media, because the first thing I think in my mind, no, listen.
How?
Listen,
okay.
Because me coming out and having to eventually tell you what it's about, right?
Okay.
Your perception of me may change from that, right? So I have to ask myself, like, damn, like, is it okay to do that, or is it not okay? Like, how is she gonna feel about it? But like, I told myself the same thing that I'm telling you. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Worst that's gonna happen is you're like, damn, that dude's super weird. I don't know about him no more. The best thing that can happen is like, you're like, oh, it's all good. You know, it was a good experience, whatever like that, yes. And we move on from there. So it's work for me too. It's not just you. So I appreciate you.
Well, I learned something new.
Exactly, you learned something. So thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate you doing the interview. Is there anything that you like to plug, things that you're working on, anything like that, to the YouTube community?
I guess that the things that I'm working on is just really like that whole like thing that I meant, like the whole mental thing. Okay. I think that we can't stress it enough in this time that we live in right now. So even with, it doesn't have to be just personal development, like mental things with like overcoming fears. Like, yeah. I feel like what you're doing with this channel is super great, and even though it was uncomfortable for either you to ask me if I was going to be open for it, yeah. I feel like, you know, you support great things when people do great things. So absolutely. Yeah, just personal development is very important mentally.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks again. Appreciate you coming out, and hopefully you have a great one. All right.